I'm Clayton Kammer, president and founder of Food en Route. We're an event company that brings small-scale food producers together to provide communities with more accessibility to local foods. I think that it's a wonderful alternative to the modern grocery stores or convenience stores that you see today, and you don't get the opportunity to shake the hand of the person that grows your food anywhere else. And if I was able to come in and make a better recipe or a blueprint for a farmer's market and improve the livelihood of the people that attend markets and offer better products for the people that shop there and make a living doing it, then why not?
Wow, thank you. So over 50% of farmers markets are designed to fail. I mean, they might not be designed that way, but that's the reality. And that's not good. There's a few key problems that affect three different groups of people as to why this is. The first and most primary are the small-scale food producers or the vendors at these markets. They're usually affected by the politics and a lot of the policies and regulations that go on from every other different farmers markets regulations. That's not their core competency. They're there to grow and make their food. They're also often constrained by time and supply. Restaurants and other bulk food producers have a lack of information. They spend time doing the same questions over and over, calling and asking what's available, what's in season. Well, the managers of markets know these questions, so it's often repeated more than it needs to be. Individual consumers or the patrons of farmers markets are often affected by distance and the timing of markets, which might be once a week or unavailable to so many people. The reality is 85% of people purchase food within 3 miles of where they live. Usually that's a grocery store. If you've got one farmer's market in downtown, that's not enough. So this problem size is big. 95% of farmers markets, and there's over 9,000 of them in the US today, are affected by at least one of these two problems. They're not run professionally or up to par like many other businesses are, hospitals, education systems, regardless. And they're affected by seasonality, and by that I mean they're not year-round. And so when the market ends, so do the customers that come to buy those food, and as does the money for those small businesses. That's a problem. So how do we get markets to be more like this, where you've got a lot of people? Well, that's where we come in, Food en Route. I'm Clayton, the founder and president of Food en Route. We're a startup out of Tucson, and we provide a platform that creates farmers markets and events to provide communities with accessibility to local food. We do this by bringing together the individual consumers, bulk buyers like restaurants, and the shoppers of these markets together in one place. We start by picking great locations, just like the location, location, location mantra of the real estate industry. We follow the same thing. We particularly like captive audiences, as well as examples being hospitals, universities, HOAs, and shopping malls that are destination markets for the weekends. We then pick great vendors, load them up at these markets, and advertise like crazy to get people to come and visit. We have a different business model where we act as agents to our vendors, which are our primary customer, charging them a percentage of their sales. We treat them like members where our interests are aligned. Our gain is their gain. Their loss is our loss. So we have a vested interest in protecting our vendors. Happy vendors equals great energy, equals better market, equals happy shoppers. People come back. Pretty simple. So my big idea with what we really wanted to do with Food en Route was to build a platform of farmers markets that acted as a base to contact people. We've got a lot of vendors. They work as their own individual marketing machines. They have customers and loyal followers. We want to solve a couple of the major problems as far as the professionally managed markets. We do that with our business skills and great staff. We also look to solve the problem of seasonality by being able to ship non-perishable goods when the markets aren't in season. So you might have your favorite jam or salsa. If you're a winter resident or a student, like many of the visitors of farmers markets are here, when the market ends or you go back home, so does those transactions for those vendors. Well, we can ship it to you with a monthly subscription box. If you're familiar with concepts like Birchbox or Misto Box, it's of that nature. We've got a competitive advantage in the fact that we already have the relationships with these vendors well established. In addition, we utilize technology in a more innovative way than seen with farmers markets before, like our Farm Fan app, which will allow anyone with a phone number that can receive texts to sign up for their favorite markets, where they then receive a weekly notification of what's at the market. It's a great reminder. 98% of text messages are read, as opposed to 2% of social media posts. If you think that this is a small market, you're mistaken. The market size for farmers markets is huge. It's been increasing at a rapid rate over the last 20 years. More than 6 times the number of farmers markets exists today than it did 20 years ago. These numbers are from the USDA. As far as the market size itself, it's also gigantic. $140 billion industry as of 2010, with over half of those products being local. And by that I mean they're grown within 100 miles of where they are sold. So there's big dollars. All we need is a little piece of the pie. Now we do have competition with existing other farmers markets and their normal business models, but that's great. It just makes us look better. We also have competition with the upper tier grocery stores such as Whole Foods and Natural Grocers, but we're not worried about that either because you can't shake the hand of the person that grows your food at those places. Our competitive advantages are our key solutions to solving the problem of seasonality by being able to ship your favorite goods that you find at your local regional markets. Even if you visit another state, maybe you go to Wisconsin over the summer, but you come back here in the winter, you can find your market foods there shipped directly to you, vice versa. We like to use it by regionality, starting with Tucson. We've got a professional management team, a better business model, better pricing, which that in end builds better loyalty among our vendors. With the fiercely loyal vendors, they recruit great customers, and the cycle repeats itself. On top of that, we're working to build better loyalty with customers with our Farm Fan app as well as other ideas. So a lot of our vendors are small-scale entrepreneurs, and they dream big, and so do we. We want to get big, and I think we have one major way to do that. We want to continue to add farmers markets around other states in the West Coast. Most logical steps would be some of the states listed. On top of that, we're now expanding into events. These are the higher dollar things that can work to build the problem of gaining revenue to get you to a large scalable size, but it gives us a competitive advantage for doing events as we already have experience with farmers markets, we have the relationship with vendors, and with these events we can then target particular niches. In fact, we've got a Veg Fest coming up in a little over 10 days from now. That'll be our debut, and we've already got more planned from then. So our go-to-market strategy is to continue to grow the farmers markets. Now by that I mean they've always served as a platform. It took about a little over 3 years for us to get to where we're at now. And we've got a lot of vendors, but they, again, as I mentioned, they work to provide marketing directly for us. There's nothing better than word of mouth, and that's the platform that we use to then launch our market subscription boxes, as well as our special tailor events like a gluten-free expo or a Veg Fest. Those are already built on the premise that we have an established network. We think we have the team with a great organization as well as the skills and clearly defined roles to accomplish this task, and we have the relationships to do that. We're a startup out of the McGuire program. We've got Desert Angel Capital Investment. We've got wonderful relationships with several hospitals, the University of Arizona where we have multiple markets, and other well-known locations like St. Philip's Plaza and Maynard's. We look to continue to use that as our Rolodex for proof of concept as we expand into new areas. If we can do it once, we can do it again. So our traction right now, we've got the 9 different farmers markets so far in the Tucson area. It's pretty well saturated. We're continuing to expand in Arizona later this fall, so keep an eye out for that. Like I mentioned earlier, we have our upcoming Veg Fest where we're bringing speakers in from around the country, as well as really quality events targeted for that particular niche. It's going to be a huge growth sector for us. The benefits of farmers markets are pretty obvious. We all hear about the growth of the food movement. Adam spoke to that, as well as the importance of supporting local and small businesses, supporting your entrepreneur, your farmer. All of that is key. On top of everything that I mentioned, it creates more jobs than you've seen in a lot of other industries. Every one of our vendors are actually small businesses. They're people that are making a living. They often have employees. In small business alone, as of right now, we have 315 regular vendors that do business with us at least once a month. We did over 450 unique vendors in 2015. That is a far cry away from the 5 vendors I started with in 2012. We look to continue our momentum moving forward. We're really a food incubator for small businesses, as it's a great way for these businesses to get out, test their commercial viability, proof of concept, extremely affordable or free marketing, a great place for a community to come together and support the sustainable nature of small businesses and food around the country. If you haven't been to any of our markets, I encourage you to do so. Check out our events, visit our website. I guarantee you there's something for you there. I appreciate it. Thank you.